scheduled at 6 o'clock. It seems like it's been a while. We've had some meetings. It's been a month.
You ain't feel bad about that, are you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Myra, good to see you.
We thought you weren't showing up.
Yeah,
Well,
we
let's
just
just
told
say,
that you.
I broke the speed limit.
That's okay, I'll take care of it. Well, I don't think he asked for it.
He does.
We want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. We certainly appreciate the folks taking time out of their busy schedule to come and listen to the county business. Tonight is the regular scheduled meeting for Tuesday, November the 19th, 2019. And the meeting is now called to order. Myra, would you like to call roll, please?
Yes, Judge Executive Robbie Williams,
Present.
County Attorney Keith Bartley,
Here.
County Treasurer David Lane,
Here.
Magistrate District 1, Mark Kreider,
Here.
Magistrate District 2, George Usley,
Yeah.
Magistrate District 3, Mike Tackett, and Magistrate District 4, Ronnie Aiken.
Myra, would you like to lead us in prayer? And we would like to ask that we keep John Hunt's family in our prayers. His mother passed away a couple of days ago.
Everyone bow their heads. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you, Lord, once again for allowing us to be here this evening, Lord. We ask you, Lord, a special blessing upon this fiscal court, dear Lord, this evening. We ask you that, as we always say, Lord, that each and every decision that this fiscal court continues to make, dear Lord, is always for the betterment of this county, dear Lord. We always ask you, dear Lord, to pray for our officials, because, dear Lord, they do have a very, very important job to do as leaders of this county. And as the judge said, dear Lord, we do ask a special blessing upon the Hunt family, dear Lord. They have had it so hard in the past couple of months, dear Lord, so we ask you, dear Lord, to reach down and especially bless them, give them the strength, dear Lord, and just give them the blessing, dear Lord, that they need, dear Lord, because I know their hearts are so heavy, dear Lord. Just give them a special blessing, dear Lord, and give them the strength and the courage to get through the coming days, dear Lord. And also, dear Lord, we would like you to ask a special blessing upon the clerk and his family, dear Lord, because they had lost a family member this past week, dear Lord, too. So we ask you to bless them in the days ahead, too, dear Lord. So, dear Lord, we ask you to bless us as we leave here this evening, dear Lord. Give each of us a safe journey home. And we'd like to ask all of this in your precious Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first up, we have the approval of the minutes for the last meeting. Mike?
Motion. Second.
Myra, you want to call roll, please?
Yes. Master Mark Kreider,
Or?
Master George Usley,
Yes.
Master Mike Tackett,
Yeah.
and Master Ronnie Aiken.
Four.
Treasurer's report, David, anything,
Well, October, we're holding our own considerably, spent blacktop money and stuff like that in September, so they've got a copy of it unless they've got any questions. I don't have any.
and a lot of the blacktop money was, flex funds, correct? And then what we've got going right now is discretionary, but now, one of the things we are doing is, on the advice of the county attorney, we're gonna go ahead and submit a couple of these invoices and get payment on them before we move forward on the rest of that. And, I think that's probably in our best interest. But, 911 report?
Hold up, I got a request on from the treasurer there. I'd just like to get, if we could get a spreadsheet of some sort to put in the treasury report from all the contractors to see where we got like a running total from July 1 to present.
So we can,
Can you do that? Do we need to put that in a motion?
no, Cameron can print that off for us, just asking, all you have to do is.
I like for it to be in the treasury report, so everybody on the court will be able to look at it every month.
That's a good idea.
Well, I mean, what specific, that would be like an annual report, that's what my annual report does, that in the monthly report, it's basically.
Well, I'd just like to know where we stand with each contract, each vendor, because we had some questions last month about the $30,000 threshold on the bidding, so.
We can,
I'll just put that in form of a motion, and then, if anybody wants to second it,
I just don't know, I don't keep up on my side of
who
the
would have to
bills.
do that, Cameron or
Cameron would, so that,
Steve?
when old Cameron would be your finance officer, cause they're doing the specific POs and then send the check now, and then like if you look after, I'm gonna say the summary page that I give you, this page, see this, the like checklist, Cameron, that's what he prints off on his system, so I mean, we can just, like, say, for example, Keiko, he just pulls Keiko's like 1341, he puts it in his computer 1341, it'll print out every check that was written to that specific vendor. I mean, you've got 400 vendors. I mean, I don't know if you're looking for specific ones or.
Well, no, the standing orders, we would probably get around that, because we've already passed that. But we need some kind of checks and balances to where we know where we stand on some of these, don't we, Judge?
Well, I mean, I understand we need checks and balances, but I guess I'm trying to figure out what you're trying to get to the bottom to here. What is the bottom of it?
Just the $30,000, if we're close to 30,000.
Well, it's not, I think I pretty much cleared that up. I've cleared that up with the folks in Frankfurt, that $30,000 per limit per vendor, that's not correct.
Counsel, can you interject anything into that? I mean, you said last week that, or last month, I mean, that it was anything over 30,000 had to be bid? Is that?
I mean, there are exceptions,
Yeah.
obviously, but generally, that is correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong, if it's a one-time purchase, it's over 30,000, we have to get a bid. If we buy let's say we have a contractor does a project in, I don't know, Wilkes-Barre, it's $20,000. They come back down to Prestonsburg and they do a project, it's another $20,000. That's over the 30. Those projects stand independent on their own. You don't have to bid those. Now, if there is, for instance, the situation with the bridges, we know the bridges are under 30,000 per bridge, but that project total will be over 30,000, so we do have to bid the bridges, because the total project is over 30,000. What they do is and this is my understanding from the Department of Local Government and the State Auditor's Office. Is Keith, am I off track or?
I believe you're off track, yes.
Okay.
I believe DOG is dead wrong if that's what they told you. Although I've heard them tell similar things to other people in similar positions. David and I actually had a discussion after the last meeting. I think we agreed that if it's $30,000 or more per year per vendor, it has to be bid.
David, what did you get from the?
Well, DLG and state auditor basically said the same thing, cause me and you talked to them, Rob, but it falls, for judges, it's gonna fall back on basically what Keith is, as far as a legal matter of reading what the law says, right? So, when me and Keith talked about like Wayne Supply, for example, so let's say we've got 4 Caterpillar excavators, your motor goes out and it's $18,000. Hydraulics go out on Mikey's and it's 12 or 11,000, so now you're at 29 grand, and now George's transmissions goes out. Where are we gonna work on a Caterpillar at? Wayne Supply. They call that dibs or drips and drips. It's things you don't anticipate. So if we know we're gonna anticipate, like Robbie was talking about, a contractor work. So if we know that a specific road is gonna be $20,000, And then we know another road is going, Dale says it's gonna be $20,000. If those roads are done simultaneously, or we got one contractor working on, we know pre-hand that we're gonna spend over the 30 threshold. Is my understanding. Now, we can do the same thing, just like, not picking on Charles Graham and Lim, but May Truck Supply. We go and buy supplies off them, we don't bid that. But if we go over, if we're 28,000 and we need a part, do we say, no, we're not gonna use a piece of equipment? I mean, there has to be circumstances that outweighs,
Well, we would be bidding, we would be in constant flux of bidding. I mean, Ronnie.
you're not gonna do any
We're-
county
we're-
bids.
I mean, we'll be taking, all we'll be doing is bidding. Advanced auto parts, May parts, everywhere we go. I think what we probably need to do, Keith, is if we can, is try to get an opinion from the state. I know that, when we talked to the state auditor's office, he said, and I know it's always been a gray area, it was a gray area when I was an auditor from the state. The issue that we always look for, it's not the fact, we're not trying to find folks who are, when we did it, who were trying to circumvent, we wanted to try to find folks who were trying to circumvent the bid process. We're not trying to split hairs. That's what we tried to do as a state auditor. We tried to identify folks who were trying to circumvent the bid process. So,
And it's-
Keith, can we get something from a ruling or a letter ruling from the state auditor's office or someone to tell us?
So I'm just, let's say, and not picking again, but Mike Prater, for right? And I don't remember if he done a bid or got bid on blacktop or whatever, but let's say that he did get a bid on blacktop. Well, we know we're gonna spend more than $30,000 a year in blacktop going in, so that's why we do a bid. But if we had, Mark had a slide, or you had a slide, and he puts a $5,000 project together and a $2,000 project together, that's just $7,000. Well, we would be paying him over 37 or,
But if he gets the bid, he's got to bid it on.
well, then you're not bidding each little project that's under 30,000 is the issue. I mean, if you'll remember, we went back when Doc was here, when Doc Marshall was the judge, and I think John Goble or somebody passed something, didn't we, Keith, in the, court meetings because he was spending money and not telling the court about it?
Certainly, there were those issues.
So, and passed something, anything over, I think the law at that time might have been $10,000, and they said anything over $5,000, we wanna know about it before we
The
PO.
fiscal court did, yes, and
Yeah.
they can limit that, sure.
So, but this fiscal court voted that limit to go to $30,000. But my understanding on the $30,000 is per project, per the state auditor and per the Department of Local Government. But however, the law, the way Keith is interpreting the law, it says anything over 30,000 shall be bid.
Well, under your clarification is that it's per vendor, 30,000 we have to bid. I guess my question is, Ronnie, how long have you been on the magistrate?
13 years.
How, have we done?
Every time, every meeting I've ever been to, it's, at the time, it was 20,000, we raised it to 30, anything
But,
over.
so when you bought parts at Advanced Auto Parts, if it went over $20,000, you cut them off at that point, or?
No, I don't know, but.
I mean, I guess my question is, why is it an issue now when it hasn't been for 13 years? I'm just.
Let's
Let's
move on now.
Uh,
Don't worry about it.
You know, the statute to me is pretty plain. You talk about getting a letter from somebody from a state agency and all or something, and it's exactly what I told you before. When DOT tells you that you can do something, they'll never give it to you in writing, period. Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen, period. I've seen it a dozen times. But if you read the statute, KRS 424.260, you know, it's quick and easy to pull up right here on the phone. I can read it to you if you want to.
Is it more,
424.260. Now, it does make some exceptions to that, and that would include things like perishable meat, fish, and vegetables, which are food obviously at the jail, and exceptions for professional services, but it includes contracted services. And if it's over 30,000, the statute says it must be bid. So it shall not be done by any county, without first making newspaper advertisement for bids.
Well, before we do a slide, we better just do a bid on every slide.
Well, I mean, look, the fiscal court's just gonna get bogged down in bids. I mean, I guess, that's all we're gonna do each meeting is,
If you go back to David's example, and I'm not picking on David, but one scenario he pointed out there was the transmission that goes out of a vehicle, and you're at $29,999 already with a bidder.
Right.
Or, a supplier. That could easily amount to an emergency circumstance where the court would have to declare and certify the emergency if it's something you needed quickly. And you could still get that done even though that vendor might break $30,000. If it's an actual emergency. Now, obviously, if you don't need the equipment or the truck that it would go on, there's no actual emergency, that would not be appropriate. But if you had an actual declared or certified emergency.
Well, I mean, if
then
that be
that's
the
different.
case, say an emergency, we could go down to one excavator and just say we don't have no emergency.
If you have an actual and declared certified emergency, then that does suspend the bidding requirements. And there are some exceptions to that rule, but for the most part, that $30,000 limit under statute applies to everything.
We used to bid everything. It would take us 2 or 3 hours and, to the judge when Doc was here to open the bids.
And we got wrote up for doing it that way because we was accepting everybody's bid.
That's a little different issue.
Okay.
They were accepting
Yeah, well,
everybody's
that's the issue-
bid,
that's
and
the
the
issue
auditor
you're
said
bringing up, though.
that was actually not a legitimate bidding process.
That's right.
Because there was no competition there.
That's right.
That's different. totally.
But that's what Ronnie's speaking of.
No, they ain't, I'm asking to bid anything over 30,000, like the law says, that's all.
And if you read that statute, it says, no city, county, sheriff, clerk, blah, 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 shall make a contract, lease, or agreement for materials, supplies, I lost one, services, contractual services, other than professional, involving the expenditure of more than $30,000.
All right,
That's
so-
supplies, that's
so I-
materials,
I
that's
want-
services,
I
that's
want-
the contractors.
This is November. We can't buy anything from Wayne Supply anymore, because we've just bought 2
That's for a
excavators.
bid, it's easy.
I know, but what I'm saying, we didn't bid those excavators, I don't think, did we?
I don't know.
Did we, Rob? Didn't they?
the excavators were purchased at state rate.
State bid price.
Mhm.
So, but how does state bid price fall with outside of the KRS?
If you ask me, it doesn't unless you're buying from a state bidder.
They are the state bidder.
If they are a state bidder.
They're the state bidder, but we're over the limit at that point.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
if we're gonna buy a bolt from Wayne Supply after, over that 30,000, the way I hear it, we're gonna have to bid. That,
I don't know how, there has to be some ways around things, I mean, and that you're not trying to circumvent the law, but and maybe if you've got a slide at Wilkes-Barre, and then you've got a slide at Prestonsburg, if it has to be done like he said, in the next 30 days, you do a bid on it.
You're talking about like a hill slide?
Yeah,
Now, if you got a slide into a road, you declare the emergency and certify it. Sure.
so then all Robbie would really have, or the judge would have to do is just declare an emergency, and he can do about
If you've got an actual
emergency.
emergency,
Yeah.
and it is certified by this court as an emergency, then that bidding requirement does not apply.
So would you have to have a court meeting to certify that, or how do you certify?
The actual statute says, the requirement shall not apply in an emergency if the chief executive officer of the city, county, or district has duly certified that an emergency exists and has filed a copy of the certificate with the chief financial officer of the city, county, or district.
I think what we're gonna have to do is, have a workshop or something, get the state to come in, and we can get this clarified. I mean, as an auditor, when I was an auditor, I was always told each project stood alone, as worked. And if you knew that project, or like the bridge, for example, the bridges that we're doing, that's considered one project and it's over 30,000, even though each of those bridges are under 30,000. That's considered one project. So we know we have to bid that because we're exceeding the threshold. But now, I was always under the impression if you did a job in Prestonsburg, and then you, for 20,000, then you go do a job in Wheelwright for 20,000, that project didn't have to be bid because those projects they're 2 different projects, 2 different locations, and each project stands on its own. So that's what we're gonna have to get some clarification on.
Unless probably, and maybe what let's go back 13 years ago, the previous judge declared an emergency by some letter, but I never got a letter from any of them saying it was emergency that I'm aware of.
So, I mean, have we, in the past, is this what we,
If that happened in the past, that don't make it right today.
I know that, but I'm just saying, I don't remember getting a letter from a previous judge saying.
well, it just, I guess it just, my question, I guess, to Ronnie's, why is it such a big issue today and it wasn't for the last 4 years? I mean, I understand there's laws, we don't want to break laws.
We don't want to break any laws,
Uh,
somebody in Pine County got in some trouble, did he, Keith, with,
Well, that's W.K. Dollars,
Yeah,
state
that's
representative with the federal penitentiary
$19,900.
affairs. Yep.
For the
and
water
he's,
company or something?
he's in the jail, so.
He was actually.
That
But he was bidding projects and maybe billing them at $19,999 when the bidding obligation was $20.
Well, he was circumventing the law.
Well, there's a difference in certain, and we're not trying to circumvent the law. I mean, we've actually spoke with the director for the state auditing for the northern part of Kentucky, correct, David? We spoke with the Department of Local Government. They both told us the same thing.
But Glenn also said refer back to the county attorney as well.
It would
you're the-
certainly protect your butt if you could get one of those agencies to get that big in writing. But
Yeah.
that's my right arm, they won't do it.
Well, I guess what we need to do is we're gonna have to work through it and find a way to make it work, that we do things correctly. I don't wanna, at the end of the day, I don't wanna do anything illegal, and we're definitely not trying to circumvent the law.
No.
We are using more vendors than anyone's ever used in the past here, because we want to be transparent as possible. We don't keep using, in the past, they'd have one or two vendors they use for everything. They'd run up to the limit, they'd change the name on the company, and then run it under another company name. They've done that for years. Now, we're trying to be transparent and and be as open and equitable as possible and spread the work around to folks in the community. But, what we need to do is we'll try to get with folks at the DLG, and Keith, if I can ask you to get with the folks at DLG, and let's try to maybe have a workshop that we have an understanding
When you're
going
talking,
forward.
when you're talking about a declaration or something that he can declare something emergency, is that something you can prepare to do for him?
We could prepare one, under any given circumstance.
So, I mean, but if he had some type of blank letter that, and then he could fill in what specific project and then notify me or notify whatever magistrate's in that district or something and saying, Dale saying this is an emergency, will you go look at, to try to help speed the process up of bidding?
Yeah, I mean, we can certainly prepare the declaration, that's no problem, but, how often do you have an actual emergency to the point that you can't wait? I'm sure it happens occasionally, but I wouldn't think it'd be that often.
I don't know.
If you had a flood or something of that nature, had roads cut out or washed out or something, that's clearly an emergency. But how many times do you actually have what I would say is a legitimate
Or, I
emergency?
mean, and not bringing that past up, but we had supposedly $1 million bill of outstanding bills that was never billed.
And you're welcome that I cut that off for you.
Yeah, well, I wasn't signing it.
The whole court is.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, obviously, we want to defer to the county attorney on this. You're the legal authority on it. If possible, if we can get with the folks at the Department of Local Government, get some clarification. We need to have a workshop that everybody's treasured,
Sure.
that we're all on the same page, because we have been told in the past and from the state auditor's office and the Department of Local Government that the way we were doing things, is good with them, but that doesn't mean it's legal.
That
That
statute I was reading was just last year amended to change the $30,000 limit, some other small language in the statute. That is the
Okay.
newest version. And what I read to you is word for word.
Okay, all right.
do you have an idea, let me even ask this question, you brought up Piketon, how they bid vendors for, cause I don't know how you bid unless you just say, we're gonna pay somebody $35 an hour for excavator work.
I was skipping them channels the other night, and I saw a Fiscal Court meeting in Pike County where they were bidding for, I don't know, dumpsters, I believe it was. various gauges of dumpsters. They bid for
Well, they got their own.
17 different size dumpsters or something,
But
whatever it was.
They're doing their own garbage, that's kind of different.
And it might not be something we do, but my point is, obviously, they were bidding that as opposed to not bidding it.
Because I think they knew that those 17 dumpsters were gonna add up over the $30,000.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're asking me about Pike, I don't know what the
I got
Pike. I ain't
Let's,
gonna,
if-
take care of myself, let don't worry about Pike.
If possible, Keith, just maybe touch base with DLG or whoever you feel comfortable, and let's see if we can maybe get some folks in here and have a workshop that we, the treasurer and Cameron and Steve and all the magistrates and I have an understanding of what we need to do going forward. I don't want any questions. I want to do it by the book.
That's the way I am.
Okay.
I had the motion there, Dave. But I don't know if anybody seconds or not, but I had a motion
Oh, for the,
to just include that on the treasurer's report.
well, do you want to add, Dave, can we add that?
If Cameron, I mean, I can remember, but my only issue with the treasurer's report is, he'd just have to be something he'd have to email me and then me attach it to it, and I can, or if nothing else, if it's not in the treasurer's report, we'll get him to run it and just do a separate, spreadsheet for the vendor.
So what are we doing? We're making a motion.
I made the motion.
We'll get it. I mean, but.
I made the
Ronnie
motion.
All right, you got a second?
Got a second? No second. Motion failed. All right, let's move on to the 911 report.
Yeah, it came up last meeting about the signs. I've got some of the signs for each one of the mattresses in there. The vendor has actually kind of getting going. They're gonna get me probably another shipment of the green sign blanks this week. So we are gonna get caught back up on the signs. And also, I applied for a Homeland Security grant for a radio system, and we were awarded that. So, of course, this is a Homeland Security grant, so it could be 6 to 18 months before everything flows out, but we will be replacing all of our repeaters that are not new at this point. So all the fire channel will be completely replaced as far as repeaters. It's slightly under $92,000, and it'll be 100% paid, no money from the county.
Okay,
And we pay an initial, but we get reimbursed.
okay. They're going to reimburse us for that.
Yeah,
Okay.
reimbursed fully.
Okay. Thank you, appreciate it. Solid waste report, Joe.
They changed the routing a little bit, and we had a little bit of problem with that. People not understanding when they're coming. They're working on that. Also, starting this time of year, it seemed like last year, we wasn't here, but I got to hear it after January. They've been saying since like October, there's missing routes, things are breaking down. So that's something I've got to discuss with solid waste. Missing, and this past week was pretty bad for them. They've missed a lot. And so I'll be talking to them about that. And then for the last 5 months, I've been working on illegal dump, and yesterday we finally got our first conviction on that, and it was Judge Hall, with the help, of course, of County Attorney's Office, actually convicted him. So we ain't gonna put up with illegal dumps, and we're gonna just stay after them. And if we find stuff and evidence and cameras that's out there, if it works, then that's what we'll do.
Joe, thank you.
Did you have any luck talking to them about some smaller trucks?
That's gonna happen, because I already seen the problem. That's bad.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we'll get with them on the smaller trucks. I mean, we can't keep falling behind these big trucks and patching roads. It just, now we've got the Southern Water issue under control. They're going out and when they dig a road up and these utilities, and they're going back and fixing their roads. And So we're gonna have to start addressing this. We just can't go back every 2 or 3 years. We don't have the money to fix these roads. These trucks that are rolling into these residential neighborhoods are too big. They're just too big and way too much. Thank you, Joe, appreciate it. Well, we don't have anything for executive session, correct?
That's correct.
Citizens' comments. Good evening, Ms. Mullins.
I'm here just for a couple things. One thing that I'm here with too is, right now we're in the process, organizing the historic part of the city of Martin. And we are going to be, I've got a Facebook page reflecting on Martin, Kentucky. And what that is basically I want everyone in the communities, people that are not around here anymore, maybe off somewhere else that might have pictures, stories, videos, even audio of some kind, because we're gonna even making an audio archives of everything too, and video archive of every year from the city of Martin and the surrounding areas. And this has to do with the historic part of the Corps moving things out. I'm part of the, what do we call it, committee or whatever, that, we've been having meetings. We had one last night again, just trying to decide what we are gonna do with the historic part of, like, the buildings and the value of the city. So yeah, I'm just trying to organize it by years and we just want I want everything. I want random stories too, because what I'm trying to do is combine it into some kind of maybe book or video or slideshows or overall, and see what we can do with the Corps' help of later on maybe being published or anything like that. That's the one thing I'm here for, and then I'm just also here about just trying to see how that community center is going and what the next steps are, and just.
Well, believe it or not, we're putting the plumbing back in the community center. I don't want to give a specific date. It's when you give a date and it doesn't work out, everyone gets. But hopefully here in the next 3 weeks. We're just waiting on the gym floor itself. They've been up cleaning. We've had folks up there cleaning. It looks really good. We got the floor to the side. We got blue and white tile put down. We got new lighting put in. You can actually see where you couldn't before. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the children and that's going to be utilizing this facility. I was at the house the other night. It was probably 9 o'clock, and the guy calls me from Knott County, and he said, "I've got you on speakerphone." He said, "I've probably got 100 parents standing around me here at Knott County at the Sportsplex. When are you going to have the community center open?" And I said, "We're working on it every day. The first stop I make in the morning when I get up, I go to the community center. When I leave here tonight, I'll go to the community center. I'll make sure it's locked." So we're committed, and we're working on it, and the people's going to be proud of it. We didn't patch it up. It's going to look new, and hopefully the final touch, the floor itself, we'll have it in the next couple weeks.
And then also, just one other thing is just, when it comes to, have you all made a decision on, like, the running day-to-day of it, who's doing it, or what's, options of staffing or anything like that, or?
We really haven't. We've sort of kicked it around. We don't want to, what we don't want to do, Ms. Mullins, is try to commit ourselves to some type of a program or a plan that we're going to have some large cash outlays.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to kind of feel ourselves through this, get our programs in place. We want to start with the junior pro,
Mm-hmm.
and then just kind of bring the other programs on as we can get grants and funding to bring the other programs on. I don't want to jump in and just throw a bunch of money at this. And no, I mean, as far as the day-to-day operations, there's not going to be anyone up there at this point running the day-to-day. We have to get some funding for the after-school program and some of the other things. So that's what we're currently working on, is trying to get some funding that we can have a technology lab and those folks up there for that.
All right.
All right, thank you, appreciate you coming out.
Mac?
Boy, thank you. I love you instead, Ronnie Judge, getting that road done that way.
I've already steak dinner, that's right, he's told us a steak dinner every meeting.
The door, locking the door, we'll lock the door after we're going in. After you get out off this bank, and you and Ronnie and Joe go with me. And, made it all now, hey, if you don't, let me tell you, you've got two choices to go. If you don't wanna go to Steakhouse, we go to Golden Corral. And man, you name it, they've got it there. They eat and good food. For, me and my wife eat there about twice a week. And, or 3 times. Really good food. We'll either go there or go to Steakhouse. Well, I tell you, I keep thinking enough of
You spending all your money in Pike County.
Huh?
You spending all your money in Pike County.
Yeah, you're a Floyd County resident, you need to be spending it in Floyd County, that's what,
Tax, you know, tax, you know, pay taxes down.
you live in Pike County, Mac, you live in Pike County. Hey,
I hate,
don't ignore me now, you live in Pike County, does he live in Pike County?
I hate,
Come down here and spend citizens' comments in Floyd County, he lives in Pike
I
County.
hate committee.
And been down here at every meeting.
You know,
Oh, God.
now believe me, I'm strong, but I'm about the only one getting work done up there. But now I've got,
And that's why he's been coming down here, because his sister lives in Michigan, wanting to come back down here.
Yeah.
And, pay her,
But,
final days down here. And
but the thing about it is, we own that property for about 90-some acres, more or less. And I got, you know, maybe put me a trailer there and make a little moonshine off the side there. Right now, I'm in the church. If I could talk to my preacher, I got a good holler there and plenty of water, make a little moonshine off the side. But no, boys, I tell you what, I can't, God Almighty, I can't thank you enough, man. Yeah, I've been on that road already 3 times. And, Mount that creek, 3 miles there, Mount that creek, up to the head, up to the barn, about, up there and back out, about 25 minutes now. Yeah, Almighty.
Boys, we're glad, we're happy we got you taken care of.
Buddy, I'm tickled to death. I was right over there yesterday. I live nice, sir. I live in Pike County, but now the thing about it is, I'll let you know, I was over there when next to the last load, and I had an appointment with the doctor. I was there, last load there, talking to the boss there. And, stay around there about an hour and a half, talking to him and everything. You fellas missed it, Ronnie and Judge both, or anybody else been there, lost up them big tall benches. Ice cold, buddy, and nails. Big boxes of nails. And, but them fellas, I give it to them, so they went crazy. And they had water too, but they wouldn't take no water, they wanted that pop. Just to them, so they said they couldn't leave it. Even give them truck drivers, son. Oh, there ain't nothing cheap about me, son.
Boys, look, we appreciate you all coming out, thank you. We're happy we could help you.
But now I do live in Floyd County. I'm in Pike County. But like I say, we own the property work. I'm in and out there all the time, you know. Like I say, I may go, put me a trailer up in the hill there.
Mac, do you got a question? We gotta move on. We've got people waiting here. We got,
Yeah, I got a question. You fellas wanna go and eat tonight?
absolutely.
Okay.
Let me go up to the community center and make sure it's closed up, and I'll be back.
Okay.
I need to run home and get my good teeth if we're going to get a steak.
No, he's.
Man in the middle, here's the judge.
You're a match.
I'm magistrate down here in North Florida.
Well, you go too. But this is judge, I don't wanna get him out.
Guys, thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you coming out, and we're happy that we could help you up
Let me
there.
tell you this now, they missed, them guys, I hate to complain on them, but now they missed a couple places.
Okay.
They sure did, but I figured Ronnie, we'll talk to Ronnie good enough.
Yeah.
there, He'll get that first, ain't much of it.
There you go.
But now them guys is really good at done it, son, they done number one.
Less than 2.5.
Thank you,
They went
guys.
over well over 3
Yeah,
miles.
you-
2.5.
Guys, thank you all. Appreciate you coming out. I'm glad to help you. I'm glad that we could help you.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I'm
Well,
telling you,
that's just like, I was, when I first came here earlier this year and everything, I went out and I picked up garbage and everything, whatever, and all that, whatever. And I try to reflect on the community or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Well,
try to
really,
show
somebody-
everybody else that we all need to work
Hey,
together,
Ronnie,
get this
did
done,
you-
whatever.
Well,
And
no.
be a group
He got what?
effort here instead of everybody just
I
going
pay.
out there and doing their own thing.
Yeah.
And not worrying about what everything looks like.
We
and,
talked
you
Joe.
know,
Okay.
You know, use it for a personal dump or whatever.
Yeah.
And
Well, thank you all.
everything you guys are doing, we keep thinking of.
Thank you.
And if I can help in any way possible, you know, y'all can, you know,
Okay. All right, thank you all. We appreciate it. This is, nobody, okay. This is National Hospice Month, and we do have 2 representatives from hospice here. And I would like to read the proclamation for the National Hospice Month, if that would be okay. To whom all these presents shall come, whereas hospice care empowers people to live as fully as possible, surrounded and supported by family, friends, and loved ones, despite life-limiting illness. Whereas hospice works to control pain and symptoms for patients with terminal diagnosis and put caring and comfort over all else. Whereas hospice strives to play an important role, not only as a local healthcare provider, but also as a community partner. Whereas Appalachian Hospice Care has been providing end-of-life care and support to patients since 1991 through skilled nursing, personal care, social work, spiritual and bereavement and grief counseling services. Whereas Appalachian Hospice Care is a nonprofit agency working to reduce out-of-pocket expenses for patients and their families and never denying service to patients because of their inability to pay. Whereas Appalachian Hospice Care has served thousands of patients across the region in their time of need, its founding, and worked to provide them with the highest quality of life possible. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Robbie Williams, Floyd County Judge Executive, do hereby proclaim November as National Hospice Month and encourage citizens to support and increase their awareness and understanding of care at the end of the life, and to observe this month with the appropriate activities and programs. Thank you all for coming out. I certainly appreciate it, and I want to thank you personally for taking care of my aunt that recently passed away.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you all. And I want to sign this and get a picture with you, please. I'm coming. Get in the middle. I do appreciate it. Thank you all. Taking care of my aunt. Thank you all. Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it. Absolutely. I just had an aunt that passed away 2 weeks ago, and Rolanda went over and took care of it. Okay, next we have Resolution 1, transfers. Get a motion?
Second.
Okay, Mary, you want to call roll, please?
Magistrate District 1, Mark Crowder.
Or?
Magistrate District 2, George Usley.
Yes.
Magistrate District 3, Mike Tackett.
Yeah.
And Magistrate District 4, Ronnie Yeager.
Next, we have the regular claims list.
Motion. Second.
Mary, you want to call roll, please?
Magistrate District 1, Mark Crowder.
Or?
Magistrate District 2, George Usley.
Yes.
Magistrate District 3, Mike Tackett.
Yeah.
Magistrate District 4, Ronnie Yeager.
Yes.
Next, we have Resolution 3, Mountain Comprehensive Care Payments. This is the transfer of payments.
Motion. Second.
Mary, you want to call roll, please?
Master District 1, Mark Ryder.
Four.
Master District 2, George Usley.
Yes.
Master District 3, Mike Hackett.
Yeah.
Master District 4, Ronnie Yeager. 4.
Next, we have Resolution 5. This is, Resolution 4. This is the adoption. It actually reads as the adoption of county roads. Dale, would you like to stand up and explain what's going on here? We're not actually adopting any new roads into the county road system, and I want folks to understand.
There's two typos on this too. Second paragraph has got District 1, that should be District 2. And then, in the third paragraph, it says that the road shall be from 3725 to 4,300 feet. The road will be 1,265 feet. So now, Dale, sorry.
These roads are all already being maintained. The Stamper Branch and Martin Branch shows up on our map as a Wayland City street, which has never been. George can tell you they've always been county roads. We just have to have the resolutions so the Big Sandy Ag can change them on the map. It's all part of this map update we have to have done by May 2020. Betsy Lane High School, board purchased more property, the road, they moved on down, so we just shortened that lane. It stops at the gate, it's from 23 to the gate.
Do we need to put a width on that?
Our mapping system only has
The
length,
length.
no width.
Okay.
So basically, what we're doing is these roads have already been in the road system. We just need to get a resolution so we could get it to Big Sandy Ag and get the records updated over there.
Chaffin's Loop we got a petition wanting to name it. It was a road that the county blacktopped 30 years ago, but there was no name for it.
But this is something that's going to be ongoing because we are
yes.
doing the updating
This
of the
is
maps
going
right
to
now,
be-
so this is going to be monthly for us.
Here on out, it's probably gonna be monthly.
But we just don't want people to think that we're adopting new roads into the system when we're out here telling folks we're not doing any.
I find discrepancies in our map every day. Every day
Okay.
that I work on it. We got, I found a road today that's 2,800 feet long. When I measured it, it's mapped on our map as 600 feet long.
Okay.
So,
The one at the high school, it goes all the way
the one,
around.
the map shows the road at Betsy Lane High School going all the way around the high school. So,
Parking lot.
Roads have been maintained like that for decades by the county, are county roads by operation of law. They might not have been put on a map, or they might not have a formal name, but they become county roads by operation. of
Yeah,
law.
right. But this is a state mandated, map update that we have to be done by May 2020. So, every opportunity that I get, I try to knock out 10 or 15 roads a day, and I'm just trying to get the footage right, because
You need to, because a lot of federal funds are based on the number of miles.
exactly, I mean, I think it says we've got 475 miles of road, but, once this is updated, we may have 600, I don't know. But I'm just trying to
Okay.
work on it as I can. But
I appreciate
none of our
it.
new roads are all already being maintained.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, we just wanted that clarification. We didn't want folks to think that we're adding all these new roads to the system when we're talking about.
and Mark brought a road up to me a couple of weeks ago, New Haven Lane. We worked on it for years, but it shows up as a Prestonsburg City street. So that's another one in the coming months, we're gonna have to do basically the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Just wanted to get clarification. So, this is gonna be Resolution 4. Get a motion?
Motion.
Second. George.
George made the motion, Mike seconded. We'll call roll, Myra.
Master District 1, Mark Ryder.
4.
Master District 2, George Usley.
Yes.
Master District 3, Mike Hackett.
Yeah.
And Master District 4, Ronnie Yeager.
And next is Resolution 5. This is the other roads, same thing. Get a motion?
Motion. Second. Second.
Myra, you want to
Master
start? Thank
District
you.
1, Mark Ryder.
4.
Master District 2, George Usley.
Yes.
Master District 3, Mike Hackett.
Yeah.
And Master District 4, Ronnie Yeager.
Next is Resolution 6. This is the appointment of Alan Lafferty to the Tourism Board.
Motion. Second.
Master District 1, Mark Ryder.
4.
Master District 2, George Usley.
Yes.
Master District 3, Mike Hackett.
Yeah.
And Master District 4, Ronnie Yeager.
Next, we have Resolution 7, Floyd County Extension Board appointment.
Motion. Second.
Master District 1, Mark Ryder.
Four.
Master District 2, George Doosley.
Yes.
Master District 3, Mike Tackett.
Yeah.
Master District 4, Ronnie Yeager.
And next, we have Resolution 8. This is the Floyd County Senior Citizens Board.
Motion. Second.
Master District 1, Mark Ryder.
Four.
Master District 2, George Doosley.
Yes.
Master District 3, Mike Tackett.
Yeah.
Master District 4, Ronnie Yeager.
And next, we're going to open the bids for the two bridges that we're bidding. First one is Bush and Merchant.
6 different bridges, I think. 6 different bridges,
Oh, they're bidding all the bridges?
I think so.
Did we go ahead and bid them all?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we were just doing the next bridge on the list.
Is that, when that was over the third?
I just thought it'd be easier to just do it in one meeting instead of doing it every time we get ready.
So, question, do we bid each bridge individually, or do we take it as a total?
You could do either, but if you've already advertised it for bids in one form, you gotta take it in before you ask for it.
They were bidding them individually.
Okay, so they're bid individually.
They're bid
Okay.
individually.
Okay, Bush and Merchant. Sayers Branch, 95,000. Open Fork, 65,000. Low Water Branch, 85,000. Honey Camp Branch, 75,000. Haley Drive, 85,000. Church of God Circle, 75,000. And that's the bid for Bush and Burchett.
Hang on just a second.
Okay. You got it, David?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, we have Elite Concrete Construction, Jimmy Hamilton. All right, this one is Low Water Road. It's 22.5. This one says Earla Drive Bridge.
Yeah,
That's Haley Road.
That's
Same
Haley
thing.
Road?
That's Haley
Okay,
Road.
same thing, okay. It's 23.5. You get that, David? That's the. Open Fork, 10.2. And Sayers Branch, 28,000. Honey Camp Branch, 14,000. And Church of God Circle, 16.5. That's all of them. We just had two bids.
I make a motion to take the lowest bid.
We had a motion, take the lowest bid. Do we got a second?
Second.
Myra, and call roll, please.
Who made the second? George.
And that is for each project.
You may want
Lowest
to note
bid.
in that, Judge, Honey Camp is not a complete bridge, that's just bridge repair as well as open for.
That's
Okay.
one wall.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's, Honey Camp, we're gonna raise the bridge up, level it up, and put wing walls under it. And then the open fork is a wing wall and a deck, it's not complete bridges,
Okay.
the way the others are.
Ready?
All right.
Master District One, Mark Ryder.
Four.
Master District Two, George Usley.
Yes.
Master District Three, Mike Hackett.
Yeah.
Master District Four, Ronnie Akers.
4. How much money we got in that? Ain't it 80,000?
Yeah, it's right around 80.
So this will be, is that math?
Actually, it's a little more than 80.
$114,700.
Yeah, that,
The low bid is at,
Yeah. So we're gonna end up footing the bill,
Well-
about an extra 14,000.
we're only reimbursed 80% on these anyway.
Right.
It's part of the 80-20 bridge program, so.
So about 30.
Um,
you have the.
well, you take 20% of, what'd you say, how much, what, 110?
114,700, I think, unless I'm adding.
22.8.
Yeah.
We are 20%.
Yeah, 22.8.
But we could probably do some in-kind in that, can't we, for R20?
Well, it is
Do they let you do in-kind on the 80-20?
I'm not 100% sure, but we're, with these bids, we're responsible for the bypass roads or whatever on them anyways.
I mean, if we're doing in-kind, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
We have in the past.
Yeah. Okay, so, David, I want you and Keith, if possible, to get together, and let's get to the bottom of this bid stuff. I don't wanna come in here every meeting and have to argue over what's right and what's wrong. We gotta figure it out. I mean, you know, if we gotta bid everything every meeting, we'll come in and bid it every meeting. But, you know, I'm not going to, I don't wanna do anything inappropriate. I don't wanna do it, so let's make sure we get it right going forward. So you and Keith can get together, if you can. You okay with that, Keith?
Oh, anytime.
Okay. All right.
Judge, that's
Yes.
Wes David, how are we on our coal severance money?
How much money?
How much we got in the account, you know?
You mean, single county co-service funds?
Yeah, what we've got. I know we've got 100% of the last time, I don't know if we'll continue to get that or not.
Are they like?
Well, we didn't get 100%. What we did is when the state went in and they did the calculations on the co-severance funds, they use a number, and any amount over that number, 100% of it came back to the counties.
Back to the
So
county.
that's why we got the
That produces
626,000, because they undercalculated the amount of the co-severance. So that doesn't mean we're going to get 626,000 again next year.
No.
Like Keith said, we need to be judicious with our spending on the co-severance, but, David, if you can get that number to Mark, and I'd like to know myself, later.
I mean, this past month, we got 60,000 for co-severance and 90,000 for minimum.
Okay.
I know that,
Do you have a rundown on what districts of the part of the county that came out of? Because I think,
You talk about.
the people that's having to put up with the coal trucks and things like that, we need to apply a lot of that to take care of these people.
You're right, I agree with you.
I've got plans on
I
here
think
to move
I
forward
think
with the
we-
Meadow Branch, project.
Well, certain percentage that's gotta go to coal hauling roads anyway.
Right.
that's right.
Well, they changed it, I think they changed.
Well, they did change
last time.
that.
It was 30%.
It was
Now-
30%,
now
they
there's-
did
there's
change
nothing-
it, but.
There's nothing designated for it now, but I think these people that puts up with the coal trucks and things, we need to try to take care of.
Well, I
You know,
mean,
people spend a lot of money.
June, when we passed, we had the LGA and County Road Act hearing. In that hearing, we estimate how much money we're gonna receive for the year. And then, like you're talking about, that 30% is down at the bottom of that, saying that we'll segregate that money or separate that money to pay for those specific.
we've got two situations that we need to address, you know, that,
Yeah.
That single county money is money like we're probably getting for the community center, ain't it, Judge? You applying, is that?
Down here, the Meadows Branch, Sugarloaf, and Emma communities are my biggest concern right now.
Yeah.
We've got everybody else pretty well taken care of, and we, you know, we're gonna have to work with them and work with the coal companies also, you know,
And they're legitimate,
Everybody's
they're
looking at
legitimate
it.
concerns. You know, here's, the situation is, and I've explained this to Mark, in today's environment, they would have never gotten a permit to do that, where they're at today. But it's been there,
Yeah.
and, you know, Clark and Jesse, they're doing what they can. They're running a business there, and they're employing people, and, you know, we just need to, I guess, try to step up and help as much as we can. And we've done a lot since we've been in, Mark. haven't
Yeah,
we?
we have.
I mean,
There's been a lot on
this-
that. It don't last long.
Yeah,
You know,
they're
we're-
temporary fixes, and the issue you run into is you can go up there and put asphalt down, that asphalt doesn't last long. I was on a project in Wheelwright, the state had me put asphalt down, coal trucks running on it, lasted 3 weeks, $80,000 for 3 weeks, and it was gone.
Yeah.
So,
I think we do
don't-
have a resolution here for to resolve the problem in, Meadows Branch, pretty easy here. It's just, and, the city's been working on it, Les Stapleton, he's contacted the federal government about getting the Job Corps to work with us on it. I just want to let the people know that we are working on this, and, you know, we're not forgotten.
You got issues and you're trying to address it.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, every day.
And Mark he's working on it, he's working with the mayor on that up there. I mean, we talk about it at least once, if not twice a week. So we're gonna get it resolved. But that's something we'll, you know, we want everybody to know that we are working on it, Mark is working on it. So, we'll get on it, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
All right, any other magistrates, any other comments? All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for coming out.
Got a motion?
Oh, yeah.
Second.
Motion made.
Motion to adjourn.